All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Don't know what took this so long. I was trying to get my camera to work, and yeah, it wasn't coming up. Also, it looks like it's a little bit of a delay from what I am saying. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay. I don't know what's going on. Sorry. Yeah, like I've been here, and I was reading some of the messages. I was just trying to get this camera to work before I went live. Here, maybe if I bring up webcam app, that it will actually I don't know. Maybe it'll be better next time. Sorry about that. What's up, Clan? What's up, man? Don't want to be on here too long. Let's see. When's our next game? Our next game is Monday, right, chat? So if our next game is Monday. Let's see. Let me make sure. Just realistically, what could we go over? We can do about 3 segments. If we're going live Monday night anyway, let's just do 3 segments for the people that'll catch this later. Bro, Wemby has been so disappointing. I feel okay. I don't want it to be okay, and I know some people really hate it when we get negative, but I think overwhelmingly this. Portland Trailblazers are signing City Sissoko, by the way. Just saw the news. If you guys didn't see, City Sissoko's going to Portland. I'm glad he's back in the league. All right, so let me lay it down. Let me lay it down for you, okay? Usually we're pretty positive, like overwhelmingly positive. I think. All right, I think we typically are. This is not going to be one of those times. This is not going to be one of those times. I know some people really hate it when we get negative at all. They're like, no, be positive. But yeah, this is not one of those situations, right? So let's see. So obviously I want to take a look at post-game stuff. So we'll definitely look at that. There's something that my friend sent me. Let me see if I can. Hold on. He sent it to me. And if I go to it from my phone, I'll be able to save it. This drives me crazy. I had no idea about this. So there's something that I don't like from Wemby's angle, and then there's something else that I have to go over. So let's see. So let me make sure the Spurs have posted something. You already know we're talking about this game, right? Let's see here. Where's the San Antonio Spurs official page? Here it is. All right, so you got Mitch Johnson's post game. Definitely want to look at that. Let's see. Do we have a Mitch Johnson and a? Nope, just a Mitch Johnson. All right, so that's something we're going over. And then this game, obviously. This game didn't make me happy. So that'll be something. And then something pertaining to Wemby that I don't like. Why are we losing to such bad teams right now? Rotations, my friend. Rotations. All right, so let's see here. is it? Lineups. See if I can find this. Team defense. That's not what I'm looking for. Team stats. See if I can find lineups. We'll do last. All right. I need to do from. Sorry, I'm getting it ready. I'm getting it ready because I definitely want to take a look at this. So this is today, and we first got De'Aaron Fox on the 5th of February. So date from, we're going to do the 5th to Saturday. Get stats. All right, and then how do you do... Because this isn't what I'm looking for. Lineups, traditional, maybe advanced? Here it is. This doesn't do me any good. Can we refresh this? There we go. Okay. Wait, no, I didn't refresh it. Net rating? This isn't going to help. This doesn't actually help anything. Oh, it didn't do the dates right. Okay. We'll do up to today. That's fine. Get stats. Here we go. Sorry, you can see I'm trying to bring up the stats here, but it's acting weird. Okay. All right. I'm looking at something on here and just, I'm looking at something else. Yep. Not many minutes on the court. So a decent sample size. Wow. Okay. All right, guys. All right, so I see a lot of you guys are quite upset in the chat here, and I just have to say I'm quite upset as well. So I'm not one of the people that say Mitch Johnson has to go. I think that's a little ridiculous, especially when he's an assistant coach. He's not supposed to be a head coach. That's not what was supposed to happen. No one was expecting Popovich's stroke, right? Like no one expected that. But we do need to judge it for what it is right now. And as far as he's concerned, as far as being this head coach of this team this season, I don't think it's been that good. I think it's been pretty bad. The lineups have me scratching my head, and I think that he trusts his vets a little bit too much to the point where it's actually detrimental for our defense. So I'm hoping that changes soon, but I completely understand the frustration there. Not Barnes. Ooh, Mario. I kind of agree a little bit. A little bit. So Mario here basically says we need to buy out Chris Paul. I agree to an extent, right? The way that we're utilizing Chris Paul, starting him with Fox, doesn't make any sense. So hopefully that changes quite soon. And maybe by the time we upload this small segment that it has changed, but it doesn't make much sense to me. I think you definitely can utilize Chris Paul, but you're not going to be able to utilize him starting him with Fox. I don't understand. They're just eating into each other's minutes for no reason whatsoever. What was the point of getting Fox if we're going to use Chris Paul the exact same way that we've been using him? I don't like that. And I know that Mitch has said that he's basing his ideology on what Popovich has said, that the players will tell you what they need. But you can't trust. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting upset thinking about this. You can't trust players 100%, right? You just can't do it. So hopefully it changes. All right. So with that being said, let's go into this game. Let's see. All right. Okay. All right, you guys know that this channel is often quite positive, right? I do not jump on here and just talk trash about players just to talk trash about them. I don't talk trash about the coaching just to talk trash about them. I don't talk about the front office in a negative way when I think it's not, merited, right? I don't come on here and just perform, right? Everything is a performance to some degree, right? Obviously, when you're live streaming and all that, you have a channel, but for the most part, I try my best to be as close to authentic on how I feel about things as possible. I'm not going to go on here and say this person should be fired, this person should be traded all the time. Like, I just don't do that, right? So when I get negative on some things that I see, I hope that you guys can take that as authenticity, and maybe it is something we should be concerned about, okay? So this game in particular, I thought none of this was on the players. And if anybody comes out of this game and they say this player should have played harder, this player should have did this player should have did that, I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong or anything, but I am going to say I don't think that this game is on the players. It's actually been a continuous theme that I've seen with this team, and they're just continuing it, and I don't like it. It can change pretty soon. It can change tomorrow, right? But like right now, I don't like this. Okay, let me just go into what I don't like. So the Spurs were in a very tough match against the Magic. Just like the last game against the Hornets, we came out of it like, hey, we should have won that game, right? It just is what it is. But a couple things that I've seen that I really don't like, and I actually understand, or at least I think I understand why Mitch Johnson does this. But I don't like lineups as if we're already in the playoffs. And I also don't like not trusting young guys. Those are the two things I don't like right now. What do I mean by that? So one thing that's happened over time and time again is that we're not utilizing or fully utilizing our roster, right? Now, obviously that bit us in the butt against the Memphis Grizzlies, a team that's all about attrition. Like, that's their entire motto, is that they're just going to try to beat you down with the plethora of depth that they have, right? And they're not going to overplay anybody, and they just break you down. They're a super fast team. They break you down. And obviously that was a matchup nightmare for us all the time, like all the times we played them, and we didn't make any adjustments when it came to that. But I was hoping that we would at least learn a lesson from that, and that lesson is you need to play more players and you need to stretch it out a little bit more. But no, we didn't do that. I'm not bought into the fact that Malachi and Blake Wesley can give you no minutes. I'm not bought into the fact or the idea that these two cannot contribute to the team whatsoever. I don't like that. I don't think that's true. Now, do I think that there's star talent in them? No. But I thought, at least this season and going forward, because, obviously we want to make the playoffs. I understand that. But at the same time, I thought that the whole point of having guys like these two is for them not to rot on the bench. You could save that for older veterans that you don't really need to be your third stringers. But Malachi and Blake Wesley, you can definitely get somewhat utility out of them. Even if it's just a few minutes and it's not garbage time, just a few minutes just to give some of these other guys a little bit more rest, right? But that has not been the case, man. That has not been the case. So that's one thing, but that's like one of the smaller things on the end. I think that's one of those things where most fans don't agree with that, right? He said, I don't even know what your name is. It's just a bunch of asterisks. I've been being about this, the B word, about this for years. We haven't played to our potential for a while now because effing tanking. Hope y'all finally recognize. No, the tanking was fine. I was okay with the tanking. They got his Wemby, right? I'm okay with the tanking. But this right here, and I know what you're saying, but Popovich did utilize Blake and Malachi. Popovich did have quite a few lineups where, you can attack a team in different angles. I'm just looking for a little bit more creativity. So that's number one. All right. But that's on the smaller end of things. I don't think a lot of people will agree with that. That's fine. But I think the one thing that we all will agree with is the lineups just as a whole. When we do just have these guys, we just keep these guys out there. The lineups are very questionable to the point where I'm like, you are way too comfortable with your guys. Like I'm starting to get the vibe of these are your guys and you're rolling with them, right? You're rolling with them. I don't like that. And I think that is unnecessary. I think it's a little silly. And what do I mean by that? Well, guys, look who's on the bench. You have Steph Castle on the bench, which is fine. That's okay. Last game he scored 33 points off the bench, whatever. You have Jeremy Sohan on the bench. I don't know if he's still in injury protocol or whatnot. Like, I don't know if he's still on minutes restriction. I have no idea. I don't think that they've been very clear about that. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong there. So I don't like that. But the main thing I really don't like is this. When you got De'Aaron Fox, in the first game that he can play, we elected to play him. I did not think that we would run a lineup with Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox on the court together. I don't understand why we're doing that. I don't get it. All you're doing is eating into each other's minutes. Chris Paul coming off the bench would actually give us way more depth. Chris Paul plays really well with Steph Castle. But this right here, I thought that our whole thing this season was defense. I thought that our whole thing this season was that's what the San Antonio Spurs are about, right? Like, that's our identity, is we're going to lean on that defense. It's not just me saying it. Wemby has said it. Sohan seems to feel that way. The coaching staff has said it. I thought that that's what it is. This right here, starting a lineup with Chris Paul, De'Aaron Fox, and Harrison Barnes, no disrespect. No disrespect to Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes by any stretch of the imagination. But this just yells safe to me. This just screams safe. Vic, you got to start him because he's Vic. Devin Vassell, pretty long tenured Spur, and we're accustomed to Keldon coming off the bench already. And then Chris Paul, De'Aaron Fox, and Harrison Barnes, well, they're vets. They have to play, right? Absolutely ridiculous. This makes no sense. Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox on the court starting together makes no sense whatsoever. Now, if Sohan is on injury, protocol or minutes restriction, okay, all right, fine. I'll accept it, I guess. But the fact that you want to play Chris Paul with Fox and you move Fox to shooting guard is just dumb to me. Fox is one of the best pick and roll ball handlers in the NBA. Victor Wembanyama, great pick and pop player. And Jeremy Sohan, we already seen it. He's third, which technically he's just tied with Jokic, but he's third in the NBA in pick and roll finishes. Why are we not just putting our strongest foot forward here? What are these lineups? Why are we doing this? This is the smallest lineup in the league. Is it literally? This game, this loss, is all coaching. I did not come out of this game with, and usually I can, right? Usually I can come out of the game and say, this player should have done this. This player should have did this. I didn't really like how this player played. It did not feel that way. This entire game was just, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What's going on? And I know that we're struggling with not having a backup center, right? So maybe that justifies it, Sohan, being off the bench. But another thing I didn't like, that lineup at the end of this game, do you guys seriously think that Banchero would have got that easy of a shot if Sohan was on him? You can say what you want about Jeremy, right? Like, fine. I argue with people all the time, but let's get serious here. Jeremy Sohan not being in the game when we desperately need a good defensive possession and we can see Victor Wembanyama is gassed is completely inexcusable. I am sorry. Completely inexcusable. Barnes was having a good game. So be it. Whatever. I just don't understand Chris Paul being out there when you have De'Aaron Fox. Just run one or the other and finish off with Sohan. Fox ending the game makes sense. Everyone knows he's known as a clutch player. Maybe he gets going at the end of the fourth. Whatever. I am content with that. Sohan not being in the game, unless it is strictly minutes restriction, and even if that's the case, you need to manage these minutes a little bit better, because him not being in there really irritates me. I know, maybe people will say, well, Clan, he had 4 personal fouls. There is like 2 minutes left on the clock. I don't care. I don't care. This won't carry over into next game. Just like Mitch Johnson when it comes to the timeouts, and it seems like he never really wants to call a timeout. Same thing with this. Jeremy Sohan, let's say he does get 2 more. So? Just like it was a few games ago where Castle, they called a foul on him and he got fouled out. And I said, you should challenge that. And we didn't challenge it. Why didn't we challenge it? We only had a few minutes left. He was playing great. Why didn't we just challenge it? Screw it. A lot of it is just speaks to me that he's just, and this is not me saying Mitch needs to go. Okay. Let me get that straight. This is not me saying Mitch Johnson needs to be fired. This is the only thing I'm saying is he's probably just better as an assistant coach. No one's on that coaching staff is incompetent. No one on the coaching staff is bad. Everyone that works with Popovich, he gets the best of the best. Guys that he puts on his line, his soldiers, they're good. They know what they're doing, and they bring something to Popovich that he really enjoys and helps the team as a whole, right? So I'm not saying Mitch Johnson isn't a good coach, because if he's coaching with Popovich, he's a good coach. But being a head coach, this has been quite laughable. He just has his guys that keeps him comfortable, and I know that he said that the players will decide, what they want to do, what direction they go in, and that's great advice that he got from Pop. But I think he's taking it a step too far. This is too much. And this is, guys, I'm not even talking about like, who should be the next coach right now. I see some people saying like Coach Brown. Like, I'm not worried about that. I am not worried about that. I'm just talking about right now what we can do to improve. And I think a small step would be find a way to implement Wesley and Branham. And I think even that ideology in and of itself will give your team and give yourself a little bit more flexibility on what you want to do, a little bit more flexibility mentally. You can do that. Even though these games are close and we're barely winning them, dude, if you change up these lineups a little bit, if you make sure that you're not just bowing, I mean, I'm not saying that Chris Paul's demanding this or anything, but like bowing down to Chris Paul that he has to start or he has to screw Chris Paul. I'll say that about anybody. Screw Chris Paul, screw De'Aaron Fox, screw Victor Wembanyama, screw Harrison Barnes, screw Devin Vassell. Just play what's best for the team. And this is a terrible lineup. So over the course of the last couple games, here, let me see if I can bring this up. Let's just look at the last couple games, okay? Last couple games. There is one lineup, or a couple lineups, that have been detrimental for this team. And the fact that we're not picking up on this literally drives me crazy. So you can see Chris Paul, the lineup I just mentioned, De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, Devin Vassell, and Victor Wembanyama. Defensive rating, 131. Now, some people, you don't know defensive ratings or whatnot, okay? The higher this number is, the worse. You want this number as low as possible, okay? You want your defensive rating low. And it is 131. Offensive rating, 110. Net rating, -20. I think this is a good enough sample size of 3 games now, 34 minutes, that this is terrible. Why are we doing this? You don't get anything out of it. What the F, 131? Yes, you don't get anything out of this. There's no benefit in throwing De'Aaron Fox as shooting guard. There's no benefit. There's none. Because Chris Paul, he's not a bad defender, but he's not a really great one. Harrison Barnes, he's not a terrible defender. He's not really a great one. De'Aaron Fox, he's not a terrible defender, but he's not like an elite one. I would say he's a good defender, but he's not like an elite one. Devin Vassell, same thing. Devin Vassell, we know him as a 3-and-D. Not necessarily. Like, defensive wise, he's pretty good, right? He's pretty good, but he's better in the lanes. He's not good. No one starting here is a good one-on-one defender. De'Aaron Fox is the best defender one-on-one, I think, out of this group. Maybe you'll say Devin Vassell, whatever. Maybe we can debate about that. It doesn't matter. But yeah, you just got Vic. And that's what you get. You got Vic on the court, and you have a defensive rating with a lineup of 131. And good sample size. This is like a minute of playing time. Like this 34 minutes. Now, let's look at some that make a little bit more sense. Now, this one also doesn't make sense. You got Chris Paul. It's 11 minutes total. Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, Julian Champagnie, Victor Wembanyama, Steph Castle. Now, I do like Steph Castle with Chris Paul. I don't like Chris Paul with Devin Vassell and Champagnie out there together. I don't like it. But our offensive rating is better. So it's like, okay, you get that benefit of the offensive rating. You get 130 offensive rating, 134.8 defense rating. Horrible here, but the net rating overall is -4.3. Now, guys, what do you see the difference between, this is also 11 minutes, okay? I'll leave it here. Well, actually, I'll leave it these two. What's the difference here? So everyone can sit here and say, like, I'm just, oh my God, man, all you do is talk about this guy. Oh, why do you like him so much? You don't know what you're talking about. What's up with this? You see what I'm seeing, right? You see what I'm seeing, right? This lineup right here doesn't even have Wemby in it. You have Sohan, someone who's very versatile as far as who he can defend, what he can guard, yada, yada, yada. You have an offensive rating of 125.9, so only 5 less than the last one we looked at, and a defensive rating of 88. Now, this is where we're cooking. Now, let me show you where we're cooking, okay? This is when we're cooking. You guys know I don't think Keldon Johnson's a good defender. I think he's actually a terrible defender. But this is where we're cooking. A lineup that has Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, Steph Castle, and Victor Wembanyama has an offensive rating of 100. Not the best, right? I know a lot of people say we need more shooting. Not the best, man. You know, maybe we can figure something out there. But defensive rating of 82. A defensive rating of 82. Now, I won't go further down than 8 minutes, you know, over the course of 3 games. I think we start getting a little silly, right? Like, we get a little silly if we go too far down. But I think that this is very telling. Sohan needs to be in these lineups, and you need to lean on your young talent a little bit more. It's okay to have a young Steph Castle and a young Wemby and a young Sohan finishing out these games. That's okay. At least we're losing with our best foot forward. What I would like to see, if I'm just being transparent here, I would like to see De'Aaron Fox start, Chris Paul get to the bench. I don't understand Chris Paul starting with Fox, and I promise you, I am not putting Fox on the bench. I'll tell you that right now. Start De'Aaron Fox, start Vassell, start Harrison Barnes at the 3, start Sohan, and start Victor Wembanyama. And if you don't want to start Harrison Barnes, start Steph Castle. Because Steph Castle is one of those where, you kind of move them 1 to 3 if you want, right? You can just kind of do that. Just put your best foot forward here. I don't get this other than you getting comfortable and you're like, these are my guys. We're putting lineups out there like we're in the playoffs. You're not. We're nowhere near. We're still working towards that. I still personally think we can make the playoffs, but we're working towards that. You get what I'm saying? So that's what's been really bothering me, man. That's what's been irking me. And this has been a theme all season, by the way. This isn't just the last few games. It's just I was hoping this would change with the addition of Fox, but it's the same issue. I swear, guys, if the Spurs had like 2 more veteran point guards on this team, I wouldn't be surprised if we would run 4 point guards because they're vets and Victor Wembanyama is center. I would not be surprised if they did that. It's getting ridiculous at this point. You have this big of a sample size that has a net rating of -20. 34 minutes is enough. It's enough. Enough is enough. Knock it off. Let's stop doing that. Just run. So that's what I'm saying. You guys can say, Sohan, you just talk about Sohan. Sohan is that important. He's that good at defense. He's that good at defense. And I know people will say like, oh, well, we need shooting. We need shooting. We need shooting. Defense leads to easier shots. You exhaust a team on the defensive end. It makes it easier for you on the offensive end. You get a turnover on the defensive end. It makes it easier for you on the offensive end. You tire out teams with good defense. And this is no scrub lineup here, right? Like this is no scrub lineup here. I like this lineup. I mean, I don't think Keldon's like, great defender or anything, but if he's going, let's just say we get one of those KJ games, right? Those KJ games where he's getting going and he's playing pretty well offensively. This is nasty. This is lethal. You got Castle, you got Devin, you got Sohan, you got Wemby. You got Keldon surrounded around decent defenders. I would say Devin Vassell's a decent defender, and then you have 3 great defenders. Run it. Stop being afraid of it. Finish games with it. I mean, well, don't finish games like this. I think you would take Keldon out and finish the game with Fox. But finish a game with Fox, Vassell, Castle, Sohan, and Wemby. Do it. Sohan isn't that good on defense. Oh, my God, bro. I do not want to have to bring up Sohan stats again. This gets exhausting doing this. It gets exhausting doing this. Gosh. What should I look up first? I don't even know how to do it when I'm on I don't know how to do it when I'm literally on Twitter on my computer. It's much easier to do it on my phone to find these tweets. I really need to just bookmark them. I don't know why I don't do that. Okay. Here you go. This is a good one. The top 10 in perimeter isolation defense. Do you see who's in the top 10? This is the entire NBA. Wait, hold on. Let me put things in context, right? How many players are in the NBA? Around 500 or 600 players. Okay, let's just say 600. Out of 600 players, our guy is top 10 in perimeter isolation defense. He is that good defensively. And if you think otherwise, it's just your own bias. I'm sorry. You're probably wondering, well, how do they come up with that? Here you go.
Taylor here from Basketball Index.
Actually, hold on, I want to hear it on my earphones. I know you guys could hear it, but it's not playing on my earphones. Hold on. There's no snare in my earphones, Dre. Okay.
Taylor here from Basketball Index. Until now, there's never been a good way to compare perimeter defenders. We could look at activity, but not effectiveness. Basketball Index has created 3 new perimeter defensive metrics that remedy that problem. They are on-ball defense, off-ball chaser defense, and ball handler screen defense. We know defensive field goal percentage becomes random once you're away from the basket. Instead of chasing that randomness, these metrics focus on how defenders look.
Easy, you're getting ridiculous. Perimeter isolation defense stats? Ha ha ha! Yeah, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Or shot quality, as well as suppress opponents' shot attempts. Our first metric is our on-ball defense, which evaluates these factors in one-on-one isolation. This is similar to how a cornerback in football is able to suppress a wide receiver's production. Next is our off-ball chaser defense, which evaluates these factors while chasing shooters like Steph Curry or Duncan Robinson around off-ball screens. And finally, we have our ball handler screen defense. These are the players trying to stick with the ball handler by navigating and fighting through screens in pick and roll and dribble handoffs.
Now, with all that put into one, he's top 10. I don't know what else I can tell you. I mean, I show you another lineup. I literally showed you this, and you can see that our defensive rating is quite great when Sohan's on the court. So that's not enough for you. Isolation defense, not enough for you. As far as tough as matchups, he's top 10 in that too. I'm trying to remember because Castle's on there, and I know Sohan's on there. Like, we have 2 of the top 10 players in that. I'm trying to remember what it was called. Doesn't really matter. I could bring all this stuff up in a later date if you guys wanted me to. But yeah, as far as matchup difficulty, he's top 10 in that. Just know I'm not lying to you. He is top 10 in that. Pick and roll stats. Well, yeah, pick and roll stats as well. I thought we were talking about defense because somebody said he's not that great defensively. Yeah, it was this stat. But this is from 2023. But there's one that's recent, and he's top 10 in that. And these were rookies. This was rookies in matchup difficulty. But Sohan in the league, he's top 10. Him and Castle. I think Castle might be 10, and Sohan might be like 8 or 7 or something. I don't remember what it was. Gosh, I wish I could find that. Because me just typing it in here is not coming up. Let's see. Difficulty, Jeremy Sohan. Oh, I found it. Here you go. Cool. So yeah. So I mean, dude, I don't know what you're going on about, but isolation defense, he's top 10. Top 10 in matchup difficulty, he's top 10 in that too. Sohan number 7, Steph Castle at 9. And we can watch a video on what that means as well if you want. Do they have post defense stats too? I'm sure they do. I haven't looked at his post defense stats. I mean, I know you're being condescending, but I haven't seen that. I hate that they have. I hate that he has to run center right now. But I think the Biombo edition will help. Anyways, Clan the Spurs fan, you gonna predict Castle gets Rookie of the Year? I don't think that's. I think that's the easiest take in the world. Easy's just a box score checker and that's it. Some people literally they already have a bias against a certain player, and then they just look at the stats after the game, right? And Sohan's one of those guys that no one's really gonna give a lot of credit to until we're actually winning. Let's just be honest, because he's not a stat sheet stuffer. He's just not like that. Now, when he goes to his natural position, things will look a little bit better, whatnot. But literally all his statistics have improved other than free throw shooting, but he doesn't get credit for it. So even if you are just a stat sheet watcher, you can go to stats here and you can see everything has improved, like everything, just statistic wise. Points slightly, around 11.6 to 12, but he's way more efficient. But you can see rebounds improved. He's at 7.5. Assists are less. Okay, I will say that, but the addition of having extra point guards definitely helps. That's what I said. Free throw percentage has decreased, but you can see 3-point percentages went up, and field goal percentage went up 10%. So he's scoring the same amount of points, but he's way more efficient in doing so. But hey, it doesn't really matter, right? He's not that good. Anyways, though, that's my rant. And it's not me being a doomer and saying nothing can change and nothing will change. Probably should have said this earlier, but I do still believe in this team. I still think playoffs is a possibility. It's just this game genuinely upset me more than even the last ones, because it just feels like we're not learning our lesson here. And that lesson is be a little bit more creativity with your lineups. Don't put shackles on yourself just because you have vets. Don't fall into that. Don't fall into we have to start, we have to play, we have to finish with these vets. No, we don't. They're not equaling wins here. You don't have to do it. Fox undoubtedly should get the starting role easily, right? He's going to be a starter for many years. Like, he should get that start. Chris Paul shouldn't start right now. You have a better point guard in that position. He actually shouldn't start. He should come off the bench. Bring us some depth there. And yes, lean into our strengths here. Start Sohan. Start Castle. Why are we so worried about how many 3-pointers we're going to get up when defense equals easy offense? Who cares? I agree with you on this, Clan. Thanks, G-Money. G-Money's a Kings fan, by the way, y'all. Yeah. Anyways, ending segment. All right. Wemby seems gas. I am happy you brought up Wemby, because we're gonna keep on keeping on with the negativity. We're gonna get real negative. The team isn't communicating. I haven't even noticed that. Loss on Wemby, not Sohan. Loss on the coaching staff, not anybody else. All right. We'll make this segment like super short. Okay, this will be a super short segment, but I came across this and it actually really irked me. It really irked me, guys. So one thing that people in the chat have been bringing up is that Vic, our boy Vic, looks tired, right? We know that he's been sick, obviously. Okay, that comes up quite often. Everyone talks about that. And we know just overall his conditioning hasn't been the best. And I was of the notion of this. The Olympics all, off season really took a hit on him. And I'm content with that. I think the Olympics is a really great excuse to play some ball, right? Like, he got all the way to gold, ended up getting a silver medal out of it. That's a huge accomplishment. I was cheering him on the whole time. No offense to my United States people, right? I'm USA, but I was going for Vic. I ain't gonna lie to you. And someone brought up, okay, I just see in the chat, he has a respiratory illness. What more you want from him? Did they clarify which illness it was? It doesn't change my take what I'm about to have, but did they clarify that? Can someone tell me this? Even if that's the case, I do want to know that, though. Even if that's the case, this entire season, he seemed to get gassed. And it was last season as well that it seemed like he seemed to get gassed. He mentioned it at the beginning of last season that, hey, I'm trying to catch up to this speed. Now, as the season went on last year, he started to look better, and then he had those 3 months off, or several months off. I don't remember how many months it actually is before the Olympics. And then when he was in the Olympics, he looked great. He didn't look too gassed to me. He looked great. And then he had to dive straight into the season, and he looked gassed again. right? So like upper respiratory attack in the fibers in the lungs requires fluids. Okay. That is a big deal. All right. So I'm glad you guys brought that up. I'm not trying to, mitigate what he's going through. But as far as him being gassed, this has been a continuous thing. This is before he got sick. This is before all of it. Okay. It's been like that. We all know this. It's been a critique of him the entire time. Now I came across this, and this doesn't make me happy. This actually doesn't make me happy. This is going to sound really selfish of me, but I really think Victor should start to choose what you're going to do here. I thought this upcoming offseason would really help him because he'll have an entire offseason of resting, of just working out, getting his endurance up, and being able to be ready for the next season when we really, playoffs, right? And we got news, and this is not that long ago. I missed this. This is the end of January. We got news that he's going to be playing Euro basketball this upcoming summer as well. So then that makes me ask the question, when do we get the best Wemby? Victor is too passionate. He got to learn. This is not me saying like, oh, he's, you get paid this amount of money, you need to do this. But I think you're going to have to say no. Look, I've been a fan for a pretty long time. Oh gosh, I sound like those people that are like, I've been a fan for X amount of time, and then they proceed to tell us like the worst take imaginable. But I've been a fan for a while. Not as long as some of you guys. Some people in the chat say like I've been a fan since the 80s and the 70s, and it's like, well, I wasn't alive. In the 90s, I was a little bitty baby. But I've been a fan for a while, and we are known, and Vic has brought it up, of having foreign players on the team. I remember and I recall Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili saying that I'm going to skip out on X playing this summer, right? I'm going to skip out on it because I need to be fully engaged in the San Antonio Spurs. I'm not trying to be selfish. I'm not. I understand that this is very important. I mean, I will benefit from this. I mean, I will be able to go live and say, hey guys, look how Victor played today. He looked great, and we can enjoy those games together. But man, guys, I don't think this is a good thing. I think you need that summer. Exactly. DB just said Wemby got to recharge this summer. You need this summer. If anyone needs a summer off, it is Wembanyama. Is it actually possible? And if I'm ignorant to this, you guys can let me know. But is it actually possible for him to gain the strength that he will need from this season to the next and work on those go-to moves from this season to the next if he's playing in the summer and he's putting all of his effort in FIBA? You say yes? Okay, if you guys think that that's possible, I don't think it is. With Euro, he'd be worried about recovery. Someone said, no, it's not possible. I'm not trying to be like a whole country will be mad when he doesn't come to the national team. I just want the best Wemby, man. Not at all possible. We're going to be having the same discussion we're having this season, and my optimism went towards we're going to have Wemby having a summer off. That's where all my optimism went towards when talking about his improvement. But are we going to have to wait a whole nother year? Clan is not impossible. Okay. Yes, for Europeans, it's important. Okay. It's selfish. Maybe it's selfishness on my part, right? Being a Spurs fan, but I just kind of wish he would say no to this. The reason, and he improves at a rapid rate, right? I really do believe it takes a off season for us to see a huge Wembanyama leap. I mean, that's how good he is. That's how smart he is. That's how quick he is to adapt. Coaches in the past have said this. I don't think it takes a lot, but this Makes me a little worried. I can see every 4 years, but every year, nah, bro. I can see a substantial growth from year to year with a Wemby. I've seen substantial growth in the matter of a couple games. Sometimes with Wemby, where we're like, whoa. Why would he prioritize Spurs when we're still tanking? The Spurs are not tanking. Everyone have been on the same page that the Spurs want the playoffs this year. I just think our lineups have been pretty bad. I don't think the Spurs are tanking. I think they're definitely trying to win. Didn't help earlier in the season, all the injuries, yada yada yada. But no, they are not tanking. They're on pace still to be like a 500 team. That is not a tanking team. That is not a tanking team. Clan, Wemby is being paid by the Spurs. We deserve the best healthy Wemby. See, that's how I feel, man. But I'm also trying my best to be understanding. Because I personally don't have any connection to Euro basketball at all, right? So I'm trying to see how important that is to Wemby, how important it is to other, Eurobasket fans going into the season. But I kind of agree with you. It's like the Olympics, I understood that. That's fine. I understand that. But like, dang, we gonna do it again? Second year in a row? At what point can we just have Wemby to ourselves a little bit? Euro doesn't start till late July. No, he should have a few months off. That's not my point. Because the Olympics, it took a minute to get that going as well, right? Like, when did the Olympics start, guys? The basketball Olympics. While you guys are telling me that in the chat, that's not my point. My point is, you're going to go play basketball in July, and not too long after you're done, you have to start up an NBA season. I would actually be more comfortable if it started like May, like it started right when the NBA season was over, and you did it for like a month and a half, and now you have rest going into NBA. But there was like no time between the Olympics and the NBA season that he had to rest. That's my problem. Go like July into, like, the season starts pretty soon after that. You know what I mean? Said exactly. Okay, so some of the people in the chat understand what I'm saying. What's your final win-loss of this season prediction? I am gonna stick with my 44 wins until the end. Okay, I can't go back on it now. I already went back on the playoffs. I already said that I think we might make the play-in, or we make the play-in and then make the playoffs. So needs to do conditioning and rest. Yes, 44. Yeah, it's been 44 since the beginning of the season. So I'm just gonna stick with it. That's a lot of wins. I know it's gonna be tough now. We are not winning 44 wins. I'm gonna stick to it till the very end, until it's impossible. No disrespect, but you delusional. At the beginning of the season, I said 44. That's what I thought. And there were many games that I was like, hey, we could very well get there. 2026 is the start of FIBA World Cup qualifiers, if I remember correctly. What are you trying to tell me? Muhammad, what are you trying to tell me? Are you trying to tell me that... I don't know how all that works, I'll be honest with you. But are you trying to tell me that we're not going to have them in 2026 either? $37.45, 12th in the West. Well, about 35 to 37 is what most people thought we'd be at anyway. So I cannot lie, clan. With these results, we looking just as bad as the bottom team. Whoa! Don't go too far. Don't go too far. These are very close losses. Okay, these are pretty close losses. The Grizzlies gave us some work, but for the most part, these are pretty close losses, and it's just lineup issues. We had 22 wins currently. Yeah, we are. So I say we get 22 more, baby. What do you think when Wemby say now at 21 years old that he would not play this summer? What would I think about that? I think it's very important for him to condition and be ready for the next season. I don't know what you mean. I just feel like at one point, just don't stretch yourself too thin. You know, like you're gonna have to choose. And I don't want to be selfish here, but like, you're in the NBA for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, and I also probably wouldn't be saying this or being as harsh at all about this if it weren't for examples of this happening before, right? We're the Spurs. Like, we've seen players say no. Clan, you think Fox second guessing himself? No. No? You mean like being with the team? I think he's fine. I don't think that. I don't know why you would think that. G Money says, this is a Kings fan, by the way. I keep bringing that up. Chris Paul needs to come off the bench. Why is he getting the Paul Pierce farewell tour treatment? He needs to come off the bench when you have initially him starting with Castle is fine. It made sense, right? But now you have more depth and you're not utilizing that depth, you know? I said 40 wins at the beginning of the season. I still think we would get there at 40 wins. Well, what's so crazy about me saying 44 then? Anyways, in this segment, just wanted to bring this to your attention because I do think this is concerning, but I'm sure plenty of people will disagree with that. All right. I'm trying to log in here. We need to play Mamu. Yeah. Clan, is Wemby still defense player of the year? You better be. Oh, G Money is a Kings fan. No wonder he's so salty. Yeah, he's a Kings fan. Yeah, I gotta bring that up. Salty. I don't even know what that means. Salty peanut. G Money is saying he's one salty peanut. Why the heck isn't this coming up, bro? Is the stream okay? This is irking me. All right. Screw it. It doesn't matter. I don't have to actually put something in. All right. Cool. All right. Last segment of the day, y'all. All right. So this is going to be sponsored by BetUS. All right. Big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video, as always. So what we're going to do is, all of us are upset. We're not very happy with the last couple losses, especially when we feel like you should win them. You should have won, Spurs. What are you doing? So we need to take a look at what Mitch Johnson has to say. So what we'll do, we'll take a look at Mitch Johnson. I'll react to that. We'll talk about today's sponsor, and then I'll answer some of the questions, or at least respond to some of the statements in the chat. All right? Because I'm very curious what you guys have to say. Honestly, actually, hold on. Let's do something. I typically don't do this, but I think that this would be fun to do if it comes up. Okay, it comes up. All right, so here's the chat, and we're going to do some audience engagement here. Let's start a poll. How many options can we put? Perfect. Okay. So my question is, how well do you think Mitch Johnson is doing? So we'll put A, B, you guys gotta give him a grade. I probably should just say what grade does he get? C and D. We're not gonna do F because I don't think that he's been doing first off, I can't add an extra one, but I also just don't think that he's been an F, right? Has been that bad. There's been some showings where been pretty doggone good. So let's start that poll, and we'll take a look at this video. I'll react to it. go about our sponsor, and then we'll jump into that poll and your guys' thoughts on that. All right, Mitch.
I guess when you look at the final 2 possessions, you're going to probably say you probably can't get better defense than Harrison had on Paolo, and probably couldn't get a better look.
Yeah, you can get better defense. You can get better defense than Harrison on Paolo. You actually can. His name is Sohan. Okay, said this in the other segment, so I probably should bring it up here just for context, because people will say you're just being crazy about Sohan. Defensive rating when you have Sohan on the court. If you have Sohan, even Sohan at center, which is not good. Sohan at center, 88 defensive rating. Don't really care about that one too much. This one, I think this is more realistic. When you have Steph Castle, Devin Vassell, Keldon, Jeremy Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama, you have a defensive rating of 82. However, you guys want to know something fun? When you go with the lineup that the Spurs did the other night with Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, and Vic, you have a defensive rating of 131. Under 90 when Sohan's on the court. 131 when you go with this. Whatever this is. Move Chris Paul to the bench.
And you got from Vic, is that sort of your view of how the end of that game went down?
Yeah, I thought there were a couple plays probably prior to that. Obviously the last plays get a lot of attention, rightfully so. But yeah, I thought we, when you get stops like that at the end of the game, to give them extra possessions is tough. And just, crunch time execution. So it's just something that we have to continue to improve upon, because that's how close these games are in the balance. Whether it was a free throw.
We put ourselves in those positions with these lineups as well, though. It's not enough that it's just close. That's fine, but we're gonna get to a point where we just keep it close, and then Fox save us. Keep it close. Fox save us. Keep it close. Fox save us. Put your best foot forward. We have better defenders than what we're putting out there. Move Chris Paul to the bench. Put in Castle. Lean on these guys. I know that the vets make it. It's a comfort blanket to go with the vets, but Sohan should be finishing these games. If it's minutes restrictions, fine. Some people told me oh well, Clancy he was in foul trouble. We got 2 minutes left. We got 3 minutes. Who cares? Just foul out. He's our best foot forward. It's not going to carry over into next game. It restarts. He doesn't have four fouls going into next game.
It didn't feel like that had the attention of the last play. That's the possession, right?
No.
And so those are the things that we have to continue to improve upon.
Gotcha.
Overall, how do you think the team handled the size that the Magic can throw at you in all kinds of positions?
I thought we did a good job for the most part. I thought there was a few stretches there.
I do want to add that adding Biyombo, if he got any more, tanking the gas, is actually a really great pickup. So that should help us.
We had some turnovers, especially in the paint with their length. Whether it's maybe more bounce passes and airtime, we have to keep a dribble, but they're a good defensive team, so it's not an outlier. But I thought for the most part we tried to screen, we tried to keep the integrity of our spacing and play out of that and play in space. I thought we missed some good shots, and I thought we gave ourselves a chance to win. It's just a few of those possessions here and there that we just, that's the NBA.
What was running through your mind as Harrison Barnes rattled off 6 straight threes in that first quarter, then went kind of quiet later on?
I was thinking I'm gonna keep him out there. Maybe we'll get those crazy threes again.
We haven't always done a good job of acknowledging and then trying to ride a hot hand. Guy hits 2 or 3, and then sometimes they won't even get the basketball again. Not intentionally, just we haven't done a good job sometimes. When a guy gets hot like that, you need to ride that as much and as long as you can. I thought we did a good job of trying to continue to get him the ball in that stretch.
Wait, no, he asked, how did you... If they did it correctly, then he's asking, when he cooled off later, like, what were your thoughts? What adjustments do you make with that? That's what he was asking. It would make sense if they didn't ride the hot hand, but you just said they did ride the hot hand. So, like, and he still cooled off. So, lineups, guys. That's all it is. I really think it's just rotations, lineups.
Can you talk a little bit about Franz? I think he finished with like 33 points and 12 rebounds.
Yeah, he was, he was relentless.
Who? Oh. Who? Who had 33 points? Who? Hold on. We already had this up. Who had 33 points? Are we talking about last game? She might be talking about last game. Who are we talking about?
He kept attacking. I thought for the most part,
Franz Wagner? Oh, okay. I'm like,
a few times
why are we asking about Franz Wagner?
where we could have shifted onto him and showed him a little bit more of a crowd.
Oh,
A few times,
okay.
we were really emphasizing for Victor to meet him at the rim.
Yeah, we should have actually, man, if only we had like really good defenders. If only we had really good defenders we could throw out there and mix things up a little bit. Just, man. Too bad Blake Wesley is like one of the worst defenders in NBA history. And too bad Sohan is just absolutely horrible on the defensive end. And too bad Castle is just absolute trash, right? Too bad we have nothing but trash defensively.
But he did a good job. He did a really good job.
By the way, I don't think that Blake Wesley would be able to guard Wagner, right? It's just overall. It's an overall frustration I have with the lineups. It's more general, guys.
Thank you. Oh, I have one more question. Obviously, it's still early in this trade and just everybody getting adjusted to one another, but what can you kind of say about the team's chemistry so far? 3 straight games, 1 score. Just how do you think they're gelling so far?
I think
I think they're doing a really good job at gelling, honestly, guys.
guys are really trying to play together and learn each other and playing selfish. So, it is a competitive sport and you want it all right now, but
Clan, if this team doesn't care, why should we? They care. They definitely care. I mean, the character. I would never question the character of. Look, I think all of these guys care. Like a team to be, as successful as they've been over the years, like a franchise, right? Like you are competitive from top down. You are competitive from ownership to your front office, to your coaches, to your players. Everybody on this team is competitive. I think everyone on this team wants to win. There's not one person on this team that I think, or I've seen them or seen interviews or watched them and thought, this guy's kind of selfish. He doesn't really care. I think all of them care. I truly do believe that. I think all of them care. Especially when you look around the league at other young guys. These guys care. I think Mitch Johnson cares. It's just mistakes, man. Just being too comfortable. I think he genuinely does believe that those lineups he puts out there are their best chance to win. But it's mostly based on these are his guys and mostly based on these are vets. It's not based on statistics, obviously. I think it's just based on their vets, and ideally, they should be our best shot of winning. And I hope we can just get out of that mindset because it's not true.
it is a competitive sport and you want it all right now, but patience will win out, and I believe those guys are going about it the right way.
And just the poise from Stephon Castle.
See, that's a problem. Patience will win out. I don't like that. It's like we're just kind of waiting for them to get it together. Like, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that Wemby, we don't call enough action plays for him. Obviously, he's gassed. Obviously, he's struggled with that. And he struggled with his conditioning even going into this season. And I don't think we make it that much easier for him.
So I think it's 8 straight games in double digits. Just what have you kind of seen from him in this rookie season?
He's doing great. He's showing a lot of signs of improvement, and there's a lot of room for him to continue to improve. So it's good things.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Castle, I think it's 8 straight.
Oh, Castle.
Digits. Just what have you kind of seen from him in this rookie season?
He's doing great. He's showing a lot of signs of improvement, and there's a lot of room for him to continue to improve. So it's good things.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, all right. Anyways, Clan, are you going to admit that role players have their best games against the San Antonio Spurs? Like I brought this up before, but like it's kind of weird, you know? It's weird because on one hand, I think that the Spurs do a pretty good job against stars, and I think that we have the firepower defensively to kind of slow down those stars. But you're kind of right. Yeah, a lot of like role players end up having good games, but we're doing a good job of shutting down stars most of the time. But before, I mean, everyone used to have a good day. So, I don't know. Progress, I guess. All right. So, big shout out to today's sponsor, BetUS. If you guys are interested in BetUS whatsoever, you just head on over there. They got some really great things going on. You can go to basketball section because obviously that's what we care about. But they also have casino. So, if that's something you're interested in as well, that is good to check out. You get a $200 bonus up to $5,000. So, if that's something that you want to do, please do. Got casinos. It's good stuff. It's just good stuff. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat a little bit. Anyways, but if you go to NBA specials, they have one on Kawhi Leonard. Is this the retirement one? There's one that was retirement. Yeah, it's still here. So, will Kawhi Leonard announce his retirement during this season? I don't know if I want to bet on that one anymore. But if that's something that you guys are interested in, you just head on over here, you hit the money line, you put in your risk, and you are good to go. So, like I said, there's casino. That's one thing. But also, if you want to just do anything else, basketball, football, ice hockey, baseball, all that good stuff, you will receive 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your second and third deposit, up to $2,000. And all you have to do is use promo code YouTube150. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's that easy. YouTube 150 when signing up. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and look at what this chat said. What did you guys rate? So I got it up here. We got to, oh my God, it's still going up. You guys know I'm about to go over it, so that's why you're voting. It's too late. All right, I'll end it once we get to 100 votes. We need two more. Come on. I'm seeing more than 200 people viewing right now, so I know a couple of you can vote. My cat food just dispensed at 1 a.m. Okay, I need to fix that. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the outage I had the other day. 104 votes. All right, we can end it there. It's in the poll. All right, so I asked you guys, how well do you think Mitch Johnson is doing? Gosh, unfortunately, the chat won't be able to see this. Or people on YouTube later won't be able to see this. Hold on. I don't want to just tell you. I want to show you. Let's see. Let's make this a little smaller. Maybe we can stretch it out. Nah, that's not doing anything. What if I like... There we go. There we go. All right. Now we're cooking. All right. So 104 votes. We got 4% people gave him an A. 13% people gave him a B. 30% gave him a D. And 50% gave him a C. And I didn't want to put anything that was F because I just don't think that he's been an F coach, right? But okay. That's not too bad. So 50% of you guys says C. And 30% said D, which is really bad. I would have to agree with the C people. If he just fixed the lineups, or at least just get out of the mindset that the vets are going to save us, I think that he will skyrocket to a B or A, like easily, right? I think it's just a mindset right now. It's what you're comfortable with. But obviously it's not working, and it hasn't worked. And yeah, just finish the games off with your best players and start the game off with your best players. Don't think too hard about this. All right. Thank you guys for voting on that. I'm trying to bring this back to this is like hard to control. What the heck? I can't change the... Anyways. All right, let's see what some of you guys had to say. We certainly win against the Wizards, right? I want to say that with confidence that we will, but, you know. I want a good rodeo road trip. We used to have really good rodeo road trips. What happened to that? Let's get back to that. Fox playing a little timid. He needs to be more aggressive. This is no criticizing players this stream right now, okay? No criticizing players. I could sit here and talk about this game and say, Keldon needed to play better defense in this showing. It is strictly the lineups on this one, guys. Any critique outside of coaching for this past game is null and void. Don't even think about it. There's a problem if we lose to Wizards. We'll see what happens. But it's the truth. He just doesn't want Chris Paul to feel bad. That's what you said is the truth. That's back to coaching, right? I don't care how... I personally don't care how Chris Paul feels. He should come off the bench. He can still get plenty of playing time. I think he should. It's not me like saying just throw him out, throw him off the team or anything. He should still get playing time, but shouldn't be starting with Fox. Makes no sense. It's just you've been the leader for this team. Fox is better. Fox should start. That's it. I don't care. It's not these are professionals. We have a very mature team. We have a very hardworking team. We have a very competitive team. No one is going... The team isn't going to fall apart because their beloved leader isn't starting anymore. Join the club. You think Sohan's complaining about him coming off the bench right now? Not complaining. He's not crying about it. You call this mature? No, I think our players are very mature. I think we do have very mature players. Are you kidding me? It could be way worse. It could be way worse. All right. Anyways. What do you think of Biyombo signing? I think it's a good signing. I think hopefully he has some more gas in the tank, right? Spurs gave him a 10-day, so it's just a matter of seeing if it works. Let's see how it goes. If it doesn't, we got to move on and try something else. But I didn't even know he was available, to be honest. And if he was, then that's cool. See Bass back soon. That would be great. Then we can have Bassy and Biyombo. But we all know that Bassy was not enough. So hopefully Biyombo got some gas in the tank. And he's a veteran. Might be pretty good for us. Biyombo is a great dude. Yeah, it might be good for us. We just need something right now. We just need a placeholder for a little while. Anyways, end in segment. Big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this segment. He built a hospital in Congo? Jeez. He is a good guy. That's kind of crazy. How do you see lineup stats? Oh, yeah, I'll show you that. So what you do is you go to San Antonio. You can do this for every player as well. So you can go to the San Antonio Spurs on NBA.com. And then when you're here and you see the little Spurs logo, you go there and then you type lineups and then it'll show traditional. So first it'll show you like the points that they average, the 3-point percentage they average, yada, yada, yada. But you go to advanced. And then this is when you can see the offensive rating, defensive rating, and overall net rating of certain lineups. And you're probably looking at this and you're like, that's not what we just saw. That's because if you go to advanced, on the side, advanced filter, you can change the date. So I did the date up to when we first got Fox to now. And I got those stats. And then there you can see the last 3 games. So like it's super easy to do. Yeah, you can do it with every player too. This is why when I go to Sohan, oftentimes I go to Sohan and then I go to I think, matchups. So you can do this for every player. So I do Sohan, matchups, and then they show you the defensive matchups, and that's why I'm so confident in saying he's a great defender. Because when he's actually guarding someone, they have a really hard time scoring on him. So yeah. So I don't just come in here and just be like, oh, Sohan's a great defender. You guys just don't see it yet. Like you can literally just look it up. Steals and blocks mean little to nothing sometimes. Okay, it was something I was gonna look up. Those are all the things I have to. How do you feel about Castle and Keldon in that lineup over Barnes, Paul on the bench? Think it'll be a nice, fast-paced game. How do I feel about Castle and Keldon in that lineup? In like the starting lineup? I don't think Keldon should start. I wouldn't start Castle and Keldon. Because let's see. Because you have De'Aaron Fox, Castle, Keldon. You have really streaky shooting at the shooting guard and small forward position. I'm not crazy about that. Fox is still getting accustomed to things. I'd rather Keldon come off the bench with Chris Paul if possible. Having that veteran out there. Give him some easier looks. Not say he wouldn't get easy looks with Fox, but he's such a streaky shooter. I don't know if I want to even risk it. He's not just a streaky shooter. He's actually been a really bad shooter, honestly. Hey, what are you on? It's the Alpha and Omega. Welcome home. This is not a song. This is a revelation. How to get it gone. Gotta upload all these segments for tomorrow, y'all. It's not enough. But it's not enough. Which song is K-Dot opening with Super? I don't know. I'm not watching the Super Bowl until the halftime show, by the way. I do not care about football anymore. My Cowboys have completely destroyed my love for the game. It won't be until Jerry's gone that I'll become a football fan again. I just can't do it, man. I can't get myself to care about anything. Spurs only. Spurs all day, though. But yeah, you said what are they going to start with? Or what he's going to start with? I have no idea. But this is a very iconic Super Bowl, right? You literally have Donald Trump there. So I'm hoping he says something or do something. Taking in racism off of the field because of that is very disturbing. It's very disturbing. I'm wondering if he's going to actually like say the lyrics with Drake's name in them, because it's kind of weird, because now like Apple Music, hasn't Apple came out and says something in the line of what did they say? What did Apple Music say? That they like questioning whether or not they should have those lyrics in the song because he could get sued, or they can get sued. I hope they go along with it. The fans will boom at the game. It's just, I wonder what type of fans go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I need Kendrick to call Drake a ped on national. Dude, me too, bro. Me too. The Grammys was so funny. That was so funny. That was so funny. I'm not gonna lie. I was laughing so hard. God, that was hilarious. It's like AJ Soprano entitled. I'm assuming. I mean, it's like $10,000 for a ticket. I would never spend that. I think even if it's just the Cowboys, I don't know if I would spend that amount of money for a football game, you know? Just so much. I guess if I had it like that, I would. Then Kanye and his girl go inside the Grammys. That was weird. That was disturbing, bro. And now Kanye is like losing it on Twitter. He's saying all this stuff, but like everyone knows this already. Like, he's like, I hate Jewish people, and we're all like, we know. You said that already. We're not shocked. Drake is a weirdo. The switch up is absolutely warranted. Bro, he's been losing it. When Kendrick said that the pop star, what did he say, the actor is spiraling? Wow. It's going to be really funny too, because a lot of people watching the Super Bowl, you know, they tune in, especially the wives of football fans. They'll tune in. They're like, I'll just watch the halftime show. And everyone's going to be like, Drake? Who's Drake? He's a what? I don't know what women see in Drake. I don't know. Look, Drake, let's not take away Drake in 2010, okay? Take Care Drake is the best Drake. I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. That's how I feel. I felt like that for the longest. It was so nice hearing that song. I was like, thank you. I like Drake with the melodies. What happened to the melody Drake? Now he hard? Drake, thumbs down. Drake's great, man. In 2010, Take Care is a phenomenal album. But then we found out that The Weeknd wrote it, so you know, take that for what you will, I guess. Your cat is getting big. She was always this big. Look at her. Hold on. Oh, yeah, she's not any heavier. She's been. Oh no! We knocked over water. You knocked over water. Bad kitty. Bad kitty. Don't look at them. You did that. Take Care is a classic album. It really is. Oh, hold on. I don't want you to get caught. You're going to get caught in this cord. How much does she weigh? I don't know. I'm taking her to the vet next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. She's gonna get a vaccine shot. Thank Me Later album. She's like staring at me right now. All right, guys, I'm hopping off. Thanks for all the love. I will upload these segments if you guys missed it in the next coming days. So be on the lookout for that. Next time you'll see me will be Monday night. So we'll see how the Spurs do Monday night. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about it. Hopefully it's crazy and hopefully it's awesome. At least the halftime show. I won't be watching the actual game. Maybe. I don't think I'll be watching it though. All right. Good night. Good night. Good night. Everyone have a good night. Bye. Sayonara. Bye.